was announced a while ago that by the end of 2024, the animatronics at all but one Chuck E. Cheese location will be removed, which is devastating. We recently, however, have gotten some news that changes this statement, not substantially, but in an exciting way nonetheless. The New York Times put out a tweet which reads, "Chuck E. Cheese will phase out its endearing and nostalgia-inducing, if perhaps slightly creepy, animatronic band performances at all but two of the chain's more than 400 locations in the US by the end of 2024. There's also an article attached there, but there's not really anything too exciting other than that one big thing in the statement which says that they'll be keeping the animatronics at 2 locations. Like I mentioned before, not a substantial difference, just changes the number 1 to the number 2, but that's so exciting. 2 locations are going to have animatronics. It seemed pretty matter-of-fact that they're only going to be keeping them at 1 location. We had speculation that maybe they'd be keeping them because there was like a survey where they were asking people what they want with the future of Chuck E. Cheese, some of the locations asking about animatronics, what locations people would like to see keep the animatronics and stuff like that. But now we finally have our confirmation that Northridge is not the only place keeping animatronics. As stated in the article, the location in Nanuet, New York is going to be keeping their stage. However, this is where things get a little bit weird. You would expect, you know, a location that they're going to be keeping the animatronics in, it must have a pretty cool stage. You know, the other one had a 2 stage that's all the animatronics up there, so a lot of cool stuff in pretty good condition as well. So you would think, you know, maybe this place will have a 3 stage. People really want a 3 stage to stay, but no, Nanuet has a Studio C beta. At first glance, this might not seem like something strange, because, you know, it's a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic. That's awesome. They're keeping that, which I do agree, it is awesome. But the thing is, Studio C stages, they don't perform anymore. For, I believe, almost 2 years now, Studio C stages, the Chuck E. animatronic on them doesn't sing, he doesn't dance, he can't perform, because for some reason these type of guys can't run the same type of software or whatever, I don't know all the technical stuff. But for whatever reason, Studio C stages can't perform anymore. So it is a little bit weird to Chuck E. Cheese fans why out of every location in the world, they're keeping an animatronic that can't even perform. Like I said, it's awesome. I'm so excited to have another animatronic still gonna be up and running somewhat, but you know, not being destroyed and still up for everyone to be able to see. That's awesome. It's just confusing why they chose a Studio C, but I'm not complaining. This isn't where the news ends though. Like I said, a lot of people are confused about this. One person being another Chuck E. Cheese YouTuber, a guy by the name of Sets, Streets, and Eats, who made a video talking about some more information on this. So basically, this guy says in his video that he has contact with somebody that works at corporate for Chuck E. Cheese, and he got some more information about what's going on here. He confirmed that this location is keeping their Chuck E. animatronic. Apparently, they didn't really comment on whether or not they're going to be reprogramming him, but they did say that they're going to be doing something cool. Very vague there, doesn't really tell us what's going to be going on with this, but apparently it's going to be something cool. I like cool things, so that's good news. We also found out here that this decision does not affect whether or not other locations are going to be keeping their stages or not. So even though this place is going to be keeping their stage, that doesn't mean that other places can't. Still the same information we've got on those guys, which is that we don't know what's going on. All we really know for sure is that this place is keeping their animatronic, and there is possibility for others to keep theirs. Northridge isn't the only one. We've also got another bit of information from, I believe, the same worker here, where he says, first, whether or not we do anything at all hasn't been decided or finalized. The only thing anyone knows for sure is that Northridge and Nanuet are keeping their animatronics. Out of respect for the community, we are considering a couple of other locations, but we have to see if we can make the numbers work. Second, I think whatever we end up doing, our intention is to let the community know sooner rather than later, and not to drag it out more than necessary. It serves no business purpose to leave the community in suspense. As soon as we have a final decision, good or bad, we will share it. Third, if we are able to keep 1 or 2 locations, our primary considerations will be A, what the fans have told us, B, the condition of the animatronics and stages, and C, the impact on the business. As I told you before, we never would have asked for community feedback if the decisions had already been made. But I can't emphasize enough that there are other considerations. We have to be able to make the numbers work, and that is trickier than it sounds. Fourth, I really can't talk about what we're planning for Nanuet yet. As I told Chris, the YouTuber I was talking about before, I think it is cool. However, I certainly didn't mean to imply anything about our ability to program the Studio C beta stage. For now, it is probably best to assume that the stage will continue functioning as is. So there are some things to talk about here. First of all, as he mentioned at the last part of that, there aren't currently any plans, at least publicly, to get the animatronic back into performing condition, or programming him or whatever. So if you think that that's something cool, we mentioned earlier, is them being able to work again, it is not, as far as we know. He said it's best to assume that that's not happening, so whatever the cool thing is, it isn't that. No idea what the cool thing is. You know, when you have an animatronic that can't really move much, I don't know what else they could do that would be cool. Maybe put it on display, have like a, you know, a museum type article at the front, maybe have a new suit for him, maybe turn him into Freddy Fazbear. He also said there that they're gonna let the community know on stuff sooner rather than later, so it seems soon-ish we might get some more information on what's going on, what the, you know, definite state of the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics is gonna be. I also want to point out, he does say they're taking fans' input into consideration. So that survey that I mentioned earlier in the video, it seems they really are looking at that, seeing what locations people want. So, you know, maybe Pineville will stay. Some of you might not really care about that location, but I really care about it. I made a whole video about that location. People on the internet seem to really want them to keep their stage, not only because it's in pretty good condition, but it's also the only 3-stage left that has both the building and moon animatronics, so that would be really nice to have. So yeah, although we don't have anything confirmed, I do think it is possible they could keep some more stages, specifically ones that people care about, although they did also say that a lot of it is based on how much they can afford. I feel like the Studio C makes sense to keep because it's just one animatronic, a lot easier to keep that maintained than something like that 3-stage, which has, you know, the 5 main guys, it's got the building, the moon, Munch Jr., a lot of stuff there to maintain. But if the fans really want it, I feel like they should give it to them. But yeah, as far as I know, this is all the information we have right now as far as the state of Chuck E. Cheese animatronics goes. Some pretty exciting stuff there. A second location confirmed to be keeping Chuck E. Cheese animatronics, this time on the East Coast, so if you don't want to go all the way to California, you can go up to the right in New York. I think that's great. Now that we have a 2-stage and a Studio C, it would be awesome if we could get one of like each type of animatronic, because we've got the Cyberamics, we've got Studio C. It would be awesome if we could get a 3-stage, you know, the concept unification type of animatronics, but only time will tell. Since we now know Northridge isn't the only place, and other places are possible to be getting locations, I have some hope, although definitely could be no more. They did very clearly say if, which means nothing's confirmed as far as other locations go, but it's possible, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for Chuck E. Cheese. Or maybe not excited, because the future might not be so bright as far as Chuck E. Cheese goes, but I am very curious to see how it ends up. But yeah, also, let me know if you guys like this style of video. I don't do this type of thing for Chuck E. Cheese usually. All my Chuck E. Cheese videos have been like heavily researched, heavily edited, you know, put a lot of time and effort into them, kind of make them like a mini history video. This is more of like a news video. Let me know if you want more stuff like this, want more updates on the state of Chuck E. Cheese as it is and as it will become. But yeah, that is the end of the video. So if you want to subscribe, you can click the button on top of my head. If you want to watch some of my other Chuck E. Cheese videos, you can click these buttons over here. And I'll see you when we, if I do this again, I guess.